Hey guys, Mark here, Reigingwarriors for Christ. Welcome back. Folks, today I have a brief message. During my quiet time, I believe that I was receiving a prophetic word from the Lord. But like any word that's given, definitely take this back to the Lord in your prayer time and see that if this word is for you. We always encourage my brothers and sisters to take any word that's given back to the Lord. You know, folks, we just entered we just briefly have been entered the month of November. And I wrote this down early in November. I should have probably brought this message when we crossed over into November. But I just was going through my journal, and I believe that the Lord was stirring me to go ahead and bring this message. So let's go ahead and get right into it. But before we get into it, I want to give a quick shout out to all the new subscribers who joined the family. I say welcome to all of you. If you've just landed on this channel, happen to land on this channel, a message speaks to you, give it a like, a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, join the family. Folks, let's go ahead and get into this message. Yeah, and folks, I have this, the date that I've written down here is November 3rd, is the date that I have written when I wrote this down. So I'm just going to go ahead and read it through, make a comment, and we'll end the video. This is what it says. God is calling us into his presence. Let me say that again, folks. God is calling us into his presence to hear the instructions for this new season or next season. We know that, folks, that the month of August was the number 8, which is new beginnings. And I know that many of us have been stirred that we're entering a new season now. A new season, a new time that God is doing something new. Like the old season that we were in has closed, and now we have stepped into a new season, and God has new plans that he wants, and instructions and all kinds of things that he wants for us to be aware of in each of our lives. Individually, that he has plans, and he's got plans, I think, for the broader church in this season, this new season that we've just stepped into. What is God's plan for this season is the question. And folks, the only way that you're going to know the answer to that question is by you going ahead, getting to the secret place with the Lord, spending time in his presence to find out what it is that the Lord wants you to do, and what it is that the Lord, whatever the Lord has to say to you. Because folks, I'm telling you, we're living in a time that there's great shaking that's going on out here. I know that a lot of people are rejoicing and celebrating about the I'll call it the win in the election and all that kind of stuff. And we just saw and there was a great, we've been saying on this channel that a great shaking was coming. Didn't know how it looked like or anything like that. But I remember God reminded me back in 2021 that he told me back in 2021, and I'll leave the message, the link below, to that prophetic word that the Lord gave me back in 2021, talking about that there was going to be a great shaking in the political realm, like an earthquake. Had no idea. And this was back, folks, in 2021. Again, I will leave that message in the description below for you guys to go ahead and hear that message, because there's a lot of things that God, I believe, revealed to me in that message, and still things that God is doing that still needs to be done, or God is doing that was laid out in that message. So for all those who want to go ahead and hear that, you can click that after this message. But yeah, folks, in order for you to know and to hear what the Lord has for you in this season, and folks, like I said, it's not a time for us to go ahead and be passive and all the other stuff, and just, be distracted by all the things that are going on in the world and all that other stuff, but we keep our laser focus on the Lord. So we'll go ahead and continue. What is God's agenda for this season? And that's it. And like I said, each of you that are watching this video need to go into the secret place with the Lord to find out what the answer is to that. This is what I have. This is what I wrote down. God will remove people, places, and things that are not in his plan for your life and in this season. That is not to say that he won't reconnect you later, but for now, they are not in the plan. Okay? So there may be people in your life right now that you've been walking with and all that kind of stuff and everything like that. But God is shutting certain things down or removing people, places, or things in your life because he's preparing you to enter into this new season. And like he said, it doesn't mean that, that God's not going to reconnect you down the road with these individuals. But for right now, if you're experiencing that there are people that are being removed from your life, like I said, this resonates. Take it to the Lord. Okay. Let's see. Ask God. Oh, here's the next question. Ask God if relocation is in his plan this season. Okay, folks? For some people that are out there, ask the Lord if relocation is in the plan. Maybe the Lord has been stirring your heart to, that relocation, that you're going to be moving to another area, moving to another city, another state, another place, and stuff like that. Ask the Lord if relocation is for you in this season. Does God want you to downsize? It's another question to ask the Lord. Is the Lord stirring your heart in this time that he wants you to downsize? He wants you to downsize, folks. Start getting rid of a lot of stuff that you may have had accumulated and all that kind of stuff, blah, blah, blah. And God wants you to start downsizing. You need to, is God asking you to simplify? Is God asking you to simplify your life? That's another question that you need to present and ask the Lord. Is God asking you for some to go ahead and downsize? And for others, is God asking you to simplify your life? That your life is, cluttered and all kinds of stuff. It has all kinds, but to bring simplicity. Are you feeling that? Do you feel that God is moving that on you? Has God been stirring your heart to do that? To go ahead and simplify? Maybe this is like I said, this video is a video that is bringing confirmation to something maybe that you've already heard from the Lord. You've already been feeling that stir that the Lord wants you to do that. And this video is just a confirmation for that. But you have to ask the Lord. You need to hear. His voice clearly to receive answers to these questions. There are areas that will become very dangerous place to be. There are areas out there in the world that will become very dangerous to be. What I'll call it, what the Lord is maybe putting red flags up there. I'm just reading what I believe that the Lord is, during my quiet time, has written, has told me. There are areas that will become very dangerous place to live. Or place to be. God knows those areas and may want you to move. And this is why it's so important, folks, to get into the presence of God, to spend time with the Lord, because God knows the areas, I'll call it in the future, going down the road, in the future, or whatever, whatever the Lord is saying. Because like I said, God, I believe, is preparing a lot of us in the body of Christ. He knows what's coming on the road. He knows what's going to be happening and all that kind of stuff. But if he's speaking to you about these things, don't discount it, folks. If you're receiving dreams, visions, or anything kind of thing, God is trying to get your attention. Do not discount these things. God knows the area, or God knows these areas, and may want you to move. Some may move from urban areas to rural areas. Some who currently are living in urban areas or maybe even living in the city will move to rural areas. Move out, or others may be moving out of their state, and yet others God may be asking to move out from the country in which you live.